right, here we go. Mandalorian, episode 6, season 3. I don't know the title of it.
Chapter 22.
Chapter 22.
Hired Guns?
Hired
Guns. Okay. All right, well, let's just start. I'm just going to start this right off. That was extremely disappointing. That was probably the worst episode, at least this season. And I don't know how you guys feel about it. But the Jack Black Rizzo show, now that's taken over. I don't know, man. That was an interesting choice as far as an episode of Mandalorian. And it was another episode that you could have done without the first 30 minutes, however long that took.
Yeah, easily.
Because the whole reason why they went to that planet was to meet the Mandalorians, or for Bo-Katan and Din Djarin to find the other Mandalorians, and we got what we want in the last 10 minutes, and then it was also in that same time a kind of like a duh moment where we had already discussed this before, like where it's like, shouldn't she already have the Darksaber?
Yeah.
All right, anyways. Okay, so I'm here. I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered about this episode. Okay, so I'm here with Joe, I'm here with Max. Here we go. We are the ExStreamists. Joey, what'd you think of the episode?
I mean, like you said, man, I mean, the first 30 minutes was a dumpster fire. It just was, it was like, it almost was like a joke. Like the thing they did with Jack Black and Lizzo or whoever. Lizzo. Sorry, I didn't even know who she was until tonight.
Oh my God.
That whole thing was just, it felt so corny. It was such a waste. Like and Max kind of said it had like these Alice in Wonderland vibes, and it did, and it was just pointless. It was completely pointless, and it felt corny. Like casting wise, like Jack Black was the wrong person to cast in that role. She was the wrong. The acting was bad on their part.
I don't think the acting was. I think it was once again. It was a dialogue, direction, point of view thing. I think for the material that they had to work with, who's gonna knock that out of the park?
I don't know, man. Call it what you want to call it. That was terrible.
De Niro?
No, but just I don't know. I think in general it was just corny. It came across as corny. It pulled us out. I feel multiple times we kind of just like all like looked at each other and made like a hand throw up in the air. Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
You just end with like episode 5 that was epic and that pushed this story along. The idea that Moff Gideon got out and send Bo to get Mandalorians, which again we got in the last 10 minutes. But like, come on.
To be fair, this episode does push the story along to the fact that now Bo-Katan has the Darksaber, and now she's in control of her forces again.
Totally.
That got done in the last 5-10 minutes of the episode. So it does push the story along, but at a super snail pace. Like,
totally.
You could have done that in the beginning of the episode. Forget everything. Forget Alice in Wonderland, or Max was calling it Blade Runner.
It switched.
It morphed into both.
Yeah, you could have just cut rid of. You could have done all that in 10 minutes, and then still had an episode that people gave a shit about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fortune teller, but I promise you, there's going to be a lot of shit talking about this episode.
Oh my God, a ton.
And it's sad. And then also because it was who directed? It was Bryce Dallas Howard. Is that his name? Yeah. And I like her.
Yeah, so do I.
She's, her dad's pedigree. He's directed Solo, which I like Solo.
Yeah.
Some people don't. I liked it. But
I liked it.
She directed a couple episodes also previously, and I really liked. So this was, I mean, I feel like she was probably bummed out that she got tasked to do this episode.
Yeah, and I think to your, like you said,
she should be.
The last 10 minutes, that was quality 10 minutes. I mean, it was action-packed. Bo challenged him, and especially when they were in like the pod on their way, and he's like, how are you going to handle this? And she's like, I don't know, I will when I get there. And then her first thing is she just comes at him like, I challenge you.
Yeah.
Do you accept? And that was epic.
That was epic, but
it was good.
But it's also the show is really becoming the Bo-Katan and Din Djarin episode now. Like he is.
This season is.
But it's. I feel like also I already had gripes about even bringing Grogu back. Now it's gotten to the point where it's kind of like maybe I'm going a little too far ahead of myself, but it's like, where does Din Djarin fit in all this now? Like where does like he doesn't get to take his helmet off. He doesn't get to walk both lines. He doesn't have the Darksaber anymore. He's not going to be the leader that we thought he was going to be. Like at least people like I felt like we felt like he should have been like he at least wanted to be or like he was thrusted into being leadership, and then he gives it to her, which I guess he kind of did for the Darksaber stuff. But it's like, why is this even his show anymore? It kind of feels that way.
He's the glue guy.
But it feels like Disney could just write him off at the end of the season, and now it's just now Bo-Katan's just the Mandalorian, and Din Djarin and Grogu are somewhere else, and it doesn't really matter anymore.
Maybe it is. Maybe that is like what's going to happen though. You know, maybe like when we've talked shit about like, oh, you know, Grogu's the Mandalorian, and that's one possibility, right? But maybe
that's not a possibility.
No, it is. It is a possibility. It's a theory, you know, and a lot of people like have thought about that theory. But all I'm getting at here is maybe the title, The Mandalorian, for the show, maybe that's just speaking to Mandalorians.
Well,
you know,
it's not
maybe
plural.
No, I know, but the Mandalorian.
It's singular.
But maybe it's a switch.
But
maybe the Mandalorian.
Maybe next season it does say Mandalorians.
No, but maybe it started with Din, and now it's more focused on. But she's a Mandalorian.
Well, I know that. I think I did read somewhere where the idea was like every 2 seasons it was supposed to switch to somebody else.
Well, okay. This season is clearly a development of Bo-Katan as a character.
Absolutely.
And Din's role in this show has been diminished for this season, but I don't think overall he needs to be, you know, eliminated, because he still can play a vital role in the development of Grogu, who is not going away. As much as you want him to go away, he's not going away.
No.
Okay? That theory of him being the Mandalorian is still out there, and them doing their space cowboy missions that are individualized per episode that touch on a bigger scale can still happen, and Din can still play a major role. I apologize, people listening. I kind of lost my voice. I was sick last weekend, and then I had WrestleMania, and I had a lot of fun there. And
don't forget to tell everybody what you were doing today.
Oh, and today my kids are on spring break, so I took them to Bubble Fest. We had a great time.
What is? I have to know.
That sounds more entertaining than this episode of Mandalorian.
Tell
me what a Bubble Fest is.
So we went down to Anaheim, spent a couple of days down there. At the Discovery Cube, they had bubble themed everything pretty much. So they had this amazing show by this woman. She's like, I don't know, a bubble aficionado. I don't know what you call her. Her name was Melody, and she killed it with bubbles and lasers. It was a really cool show.
Dude, she should have been in episode 6 of season 3.
Should have been in there.
Should have fit right in.
Listen, my kids had a ball.
That's cool.
They knocked out 10 minutes into the ride back up north, so it was pretty cool. But that's why my voice sounds the way it sounds. If at any point I sound like a 14-year-old going through puberty, I apologize. I'm treating it as best as I can.
No, you sound like Marge from The Simpsons.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you right now, that was a better story than what we just watched.
Agreed.
By 100%. I'm sorry.
Here's my thing. Here's the thing I gotta say. This show became extremely popular very quickly, right? And because it's Disney and a lot of celebrities have, I don't want to say commission, but put their hats in the ring to say, I want to be a part of this. I want a cameo. Sure. Christopher Lloyd was in here. Sasha Banks came back. You had Lizzo. You had Jack Black. Now, the writers, Jon Favreau has, a responsibility now to kind of start saying no to people in terms of, I want to be in the show, but they can't play a major role, so you have to create these bit parts and funky stories to give them their day on the set so they can put in on the pellet, I was in Star Wars. They need to start, because notice the only part that was cool was the last 10 minutes, and it's pretty much no-named actors. But this is not the first time where they have peppered in these celebrities, and this happens with shows where guest stars, become a major part. They have to start kind of saying no to some of these requests to better the story, and instead of saying, okay, we got these 2 crazy characters, what way can we make them into something crazy? Let's do an Alice in Wonderland theme thing, right? And then we transition to like Joey mentioned, a buddy cop kind of Blade Runner, scenario where they're detectives playing good cop and bad cop.
Yeah, that was weird.
To discover that it was Christopher Lloyd, spoiler, who was behind it all, because the episode is a political commentary on our futures as droids are about to be introduced into our world and making people lazy. People are already using chat GPT and things like that, and droids are only coming sooner and faster. So this episode did a lot of things here. It catered to all the celebrity requests. It gave us a play on Alice in Wonderland. It gave us Blade Runner, and then it gave us a political commentary on droids in the future. And then with 10 minutes left, they said, hey, we forgot, this is an episode of Mandalorian. Let's get back to that where the fans really want to see. And then they came through in that. But still.
To be fair, though, I mean, let's look at season 1 for a second. Season 1, you had Nick Nolte, who...
he was a recurring character.
He was a recurring character.
That's different.
You had Jason Sudeikis in it, who played a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
For what, 5 minutes? You can give these celebrities their cameos or whatever, but you can't make them central to the actual story itself.
Yeah.
And try to create an Alice in Wonderland type deal thing. I think regardless if these people wanted to be in this episode or not, this episode probably still would have happened, because for some whatever reason, what's going
that's
on
how it was written
over there in Disney, that's most like, I mean, I'm just going to try to save this episode for my sanity a little bit. I have a feeling because of this whole thing that you had to introduce yourself to this society, to this planet, to whatever, this government, they'll play a role at some part in some future episode of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe
we'll bring him back.
Yeah. Maybe like, ahsokatano episode, all of a sudden Bo-Katan's got to meet him there to give her the key to open up the door to the bathroom. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? But I feel like at some point this is going to come back at some point, like either at the end of the season, which hopefully not. There's 2 episodes left. If we end up back on this planet,
that's really more.
The only way to end up back on this planet is if it's being bombed by somebody.
They're being very cavalier with these episodes.
It's crazy.
Like, there's 3 episodes left, and you literally wasted 30 minutes of pretty much a 40-minute show every week. You wasted 90% of it to give us that. That they're being very cavalier with.
Yeah, it's crazy like that. How, first of all, to think that any Star Wars fan would want this episode. But then secondly, to even like for the pacing that's happened in the season, to sit back on let's say if you have all these episodes sitting on a storyboard somewhere or on a whiteboard, and you got, season 3, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? And you sit there and you look at it as a whole and go, you know what, this is the best spot for this episode right here because we've made some traction over here. Let's pull it back a little bit. It's like we can take a step forward, but let's take 2 steps back. That's kind of what I feel like the season's been.
Yeah.
Like, here's a great episode, but hold on, you thought you were going to get momentum? Here's not only your Monster of the Week episode, but it's a really bad Monster of the Week episode.
Yeah.
And like that nobody really wants this. And also, I praise this season for the special effects. That battle droid looked like shit.
Especially when he was running all sloppy.
It looked terrible. It looked like something from episode 1. It looked bad. Like I don't know. It just seemed like how did Din Djarin even catch up to that thing?
He was
to like tackle him. Like, I don't know. There was so many parts of it, and when I made a comment like Bo-Katan's really taking advantage of not wearing this helmet. She's not even gonna bring it with her. She's like, I get to walk both paths now. Hey, Din Djarin, check this out. I don't even take my helmet. And he's like, well, screw you. I won't take my jetpack. Whatever. It's just bad. I'm so disappointed.
And
in this
you know
episode.
what? A note on the pacing. So, people can talk all the smack they want about like Andor, and a lot of people didn't vibe with it. I did. The one thing though that I was thinking about in this episode, and I'm glad you brought it up, at least with Andor, every episode it like built and it built and it built and it built and it built, and it kind of had this feeling of like every episode when it ended, you were like, damn it, I want to watch the next one. Like, I don't really feel like that watching this season of Mandalorian. Like, I don't feel like
Andor has a snowball effect. It's just momentum.
I did at the end of last week because I was like, okay, in my head, I'm like, how can you not kind of keep this going? And then you get this. You know what I mean? It's just that's crazy to me. And when you talking about these other actors that come in and want these like cameos, People also want to talk so much shit about giving fan service when it's like, that's what the fans want to an extent. Give people what they want. Don't give them this.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do one or the other, give a little bit of fan service over giving basically the opposite.
That's
No
completely.
one wanted to see
I have
this.
no problem with the celebrity, like you said. Sudeikis
No,
was a
I don't
stormtrooper who got like 30 seconds and played off a stupid bit. That's different than this is like main characters running the episode.
And it was corny.
It was
It was
Lizzo's
corny.
acting was a little, but it was corny.
It kind of
It was fucking
in some spots it felt like Star Trek too, which
Sure.
I don't know. It's
Even the love scene between the two aliens
In the
on
beginning?
the ship, that was weird. Like, was it
it
just
was
me?
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable.
The Mark-
Well, you have a
that-
problem with
that-
the fish and the squids?
When she started that tentacle thing, it reminded
Yeah.
me of The Last of Us, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Well,
It
dude,
really
the Mont
did.
Calamari, it was like even bad casting for the voice of that thing. It didn't fit. No, I'm serious. Like, that seemed so weird to me. The first thing I thought was like, what?
Yeah,
It was like seeing a big, huge dude with like a little girl voice. Like, what's going on here?
It's just
yeah,
terrible.
and you would think, like, I guess they want to show that the Mandalorians would do anything for coin, right?
Of course.
You would have thought they would have showed us a cooler mission
Yeah.
that they were commissioned for instead of going to pick up, some,
Prince, basically bringing the prince back home.
Yeah,
To
what
the
is that,
Mont
Troy?
Calamari.
Wasn't that
Yeah,
Troy? So
yeah.
pretty much.
You know what I mean?
He left with the enemy.
Uh-huh.
Like, come on. I don't know.
And again, I thought it was cool that we got to see the Mandalorians and the ship doing their thing. Like you said, that proving that they'll do anything for coin, that they're mercenaries. But I don't know. There was just a lot that felt just
Disjointed.
and just kind of corny, and it was just overall disappointing.
I can't remember if I said it off air or on air last week, but when I said, like, if we were able to binge watch this season and we could sit back at it, and like we were talking about like the months of the weeks that happened in season 1, and then even in season 2, that it could still be an overall good season as long as you ended it on a high note.
Totally.
And then you sit back and go, okay, like episode 1 wasn't that great. Episode 3 wasn't that great. But if you look at it as an all picture, if you're able to watch that episode and jump into the next episode, it would be okay. This right now, this episode right here, I don't see how that could possibly happen now. This episode for me took me out of even a Mandalorian world, like that atmosphere, like and I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it just
that is you're right on
Yeah,
that.
I
I
agree.
like that.
even when you like watched the episode 3, when it felt like an Andor episode, you at least still felt like you were in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Like you still felt like, I mean, granted you were on Coruscant and it did feel like another show, but you were still
In the story,
in that universe. This, like, it literally put you in a bubble. If you look at the city, they put you in a bubble and
Literally.
said, forget about every single thing else. Check out all these colorful creatures and these robots, even though it was like, robots from, the prequels,
little Easter eggs, and
and stuff like that. And you even dropped this weird line like Count Dooku was a visionary. Really? Like that's out of nowhere, but okay. Like it didn't feel right. It, like the whole episode, there wasn't one point in the episode felt right. And that even includes, unfortunately, the last 10 minutes of the episode, because we were already talking about how she should already have the Darksaber. I feel like Bo-Katan would have thought of that when she, like the whole thing that happened with Dinjarin.
Yeah, dude.
And it just, I don't know, it just, the whole, I mean, the battle scene was fine. It was great. I mean, but it didn't, if the episode would have started that way and then there was other shit that happened after it to kind of like fill in the blanks or fill in my hunger for Star Wars and a good episode, I guess, I don't know, then yeah, but I don't know.
And you know what? They knew they were going to do this with the Darksaber too, because how they filmed that episode when he threw the Darksaber on the ground and then when Bo grabbed it and like defeated the guy, that whole thing, they were setting it up for this. So they knew they were going this route.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
it
so
was kind of obvious. Yeah.
of course Bo would have known. You know what I mean? Like, of course Bo knew.
Bo knows.
Yeah. Duh.
So back to let's talk about a serious thing underlying here. So when they keep referring to this take back Mandalore, right?
Now you need a fleet to take it back.
So does that mean? I'm assuming they mean we're gonna take back. This fleet is our protection. Is that what that is?
I think so. So when I think about them saying that, I think what I am thinking in my head is because people think that Mandalore's poisoned, so no one's going there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's staying away. I think as soon as it becomes common knowledge that you can roll up to Mandalore, I think you might have people that are going to come in and try and like conquer or take over. And so I think they're maybe saying that, and this is just, again, I'm just kind of talking here. Maybe they're saying it in that way because if they want to go and kind of stake their claim, they need that fleet to protect if anybody else, like if pirates come in or if anybody else comes in.
But does Mandalore have like a resource that I don't know about that anybody would actually give a shit?
Beskar.
Is that made there though?
They mine it.
Oh, they mine Beskar there.
That's why
okay.
we went to the mines.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So that's very valuable.
Extremely valuable.
Yeah,
I'm surprised there's not even people down there now, trying to.
There is. Grand Moff Tarkin's there.
Well, I think
not Grand Moff Tarkin. Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Thrawn.
Tarkin's back too. Shit.
And I know.
Oh man!
Gosh, stop. Now I know the Empire mined a ton of it when they were there. So, but it's still there. So that's the resource.
Let me ask you guys another question now. Would it have been served better to have?
Yes.
You didn't even hear the question yet. To have Din and Bo actually duel properly for the saber, or are you okay with the whole Harry Potter? I lost the saber to the guy who beat the saber.
I'm okay with that.
Who beat the guy.
I'm okay with it just because I don't want to see them fight because I feel like if she was gonna fight him, she would need to. I don't know, like. I feel like if they were to fight each other, if they weren't actually mad at each other or trying like something at stake as far as I guess I don't know. I know I like it this way. Fuck it. I'm not gonna say anything else.
I'm fine with it this way too. I think it would have changed the dynamic of the show if they were enemies, because I don't think there really could have been any really good.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Like, I don't think there could have been a good way for them to do this. I'm also okay with the show like being more Bo-centered. I like her. I like her.
Yeah, I like her too.
I like her from the Clone Wars. Yeah. Like, she's got such a huge storyline. And like you said, Max, I don't think they're gonna get rid of Din.
No.
But I think because he's a badass. There's no doubt.
They're making it a lot easier if they want to, though.
Yeah, they are. But even for the first 2 seasons, all he needed was his blaster. He was in all his little gadgets.
That rifle.
The rifle was sick. But he's a good fighter. He's a good Mandalorian. Yeah. So he has a place there. But Bo has all the other things. Yeah. She's got the bloodline. She's got the history. She's got the skill, the notoriety. Like, people know what's up. She now has the Darksaber. Homegirl's the only one that's ever seen the mythosaur. Like, there's all this shit with her, right?
Yeah, but it would have been cool at the same time if you would have Game of Thrones this a little bit without the Psycho Dragon, where she does ride the mythosaur. He's still got the Darksaber. You got the love connection. They already got the kid. You know what I'm saying? That would have been kind of cool. Yeah. And now,
even
that can still happen. There's no guarantee that she's gonna ride the mythosaur.
But now it's not on equal plane, though. It's not like, well, I was destined and you're destined. Now it's kind of like, well, now you're ultimately destined. Now I'm the first man.
And
like,
you're
the president. I'm the first man.
They were both like right before he gave her the Darksaber. She was talking to all the Mandalorians about Din, basically like saying, no, he does have it. He is a Mandalorian. And then he was basically like, yeah, this is yours. I'm going to give it to you. So, she was even in that moment trying to keep him, like, bring him up to the level, get him this kind of notoriety with them. And then, he kind of took himself down a peg, really.
Yeah. Yeah, he did, because, the armorer said that, what's her name is the chosen one, and he's not the chosen one. And he follows blindly, apparently.
He never asked for it or had any aspiration for that, any of this anyway.
I know.
It's not who he is.
I know. No. It's who I want him to be.
Yeah.
Of course.
Robbie's just disappointed
it's just the whole episode is disappointing, and then that happens at the end. Not that I don't like Bo-Katan, because I do like Bo-Katan. I think she's my third favorite armor-wearing character, I guess. I have my third favorite droids. Now I have my three favorite. She's my second favorite Mandalorian. Let's just say that.
Okay.
She's my second favorite Mandalorian.
Is
Grogu's
Din
your first? I had to do it. It was wide open, man.
Is Din your first?
Din will always be my first.
Okay.
No, I mean, I like her. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if she had her own spinoff show. I don't care if she rules Mandalore and everything like that. I just, when you're seeing this season go go away where you're kind of like, what, like you're really confused on like where it's supposed to go. We can sit here and speculate where we think it's going to go the entire time. And you see an episode like this, I really feel like what I think is, or what I hope is going to happen is not going to happen. I feel like now it's kind of like, well, I need to jump on Max's road over here. I need to take the path he's taking, where it's like he's not going to get his expectations up high. I think the main protagonist now is going to be Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a Grand Admiral Thrawn. There's not going to
be just a little taste.
But now it's just kind of like you have 2 episodes left now to really put this whole thing together, where people can actually sit back at the season and not say it's the worst season.
Yeah.
And now it's like we said last season, like, okay, we got our 1 banger. Now we need 3 more bangers. And now you just not only did you not give us that episode we wanted, you gave us the worst episode of
make you feel better.
Episodes of Mandalorian.
Yeah,
that includes
possibly.
season 1 and season 2. This
yeah.
is definitely the worst episode of season 3.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
I'm gonna make you feel better. Since Din is your favorite armored, what did you call it?
Mandalorian.
Your favorite Mandalorian. You started off on Pat some armored thing. Anyway, Din's your favorite Mandalorian. By not making him rule Mandalore, right?
I'm fine with this.
It's better for his longevity on the show, because you can go back to what the show was, him, doing things across the galaxy. If when she becomes, rulers sit on a throne and do politics.
No, I get that.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So feel a little bit better if he doesn't end up ruling, because then you can get more of him.
Space Western stuff.
More of training Grogu to be the Mandalorian.
But then you get the training Grogu, because Grogu's still here. I gotta do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into ratings here.
5.
Wow, you didn't even wait. Like, you didn't even give it like a
shit gets a 5, bro. Straight up 5.
Max, what do you give it?
This is a fail.
You're very generous. I give out 4s, so you're very generous. I gave a 4 at in The Last of Us. After the rewatch, I bumped it up a little bit, but to me, this really was a 4 episode. So I'm not even gonna give it a 5.
No, I give it a 2, dude. This is a 2 episode for me.
Okay.
This is a terrible episode. This is just a head scratcher the entire way through.
Yeah,
I don't understand what
especially
any of this was doing. Like even like I said, even the last 10 minutes of the show, it was like almost unnecessary. As far as you could have done that at the beginning, and then we could have just watched reruns for the rest of the time. It was like greatest hits of Din Djarin. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
like
they could have actually given us, like, this whole thing they did for a half hour. They could have given us even that in like a 5 to 10 minute window. Like they could have given us to get there. Yeah. They had to maybe do something, or they had to like blast something, whatever. They could have given us something little.
To be honest with you, I would have been okay with just making the season 7 episodes instead of 8 episodes, and just
86
bypass this fucking episode completely.
I'm right,
and just take
I'm
that
right there with
last 10 minutes, put that at the beginning of the next episode, and then just move the fuck on.
I would have preferred, instead of eliminating the episode, just rework the episode a bit. Instead of just doing a 10-minute I challenge you kind of thing, maybe it would have been served better. Maybe they'll do this in the next episode, though, where you can integrate, what Din is and what Bo saw him being in terms of the Orthodox, and this new coin for hire group of Mandalorian, meaning they could have had them combined to do some kind of a mission, right, before this challenge, but they still have the opportunity to do it next episode, where some of these key talking points or philosophical differences would have been brought up during the mission that Bo and Din decided to help them with, right? And they could have reinforced, this is not the way Mandalorians are supposed to. We're not just guns for hire with no conscience, so on and so forth. Whatever the lore is of Mandalorian, Joey, you know this stuff better than I do. They could have integrated that into the episode where those different philosophical takes are being presented in this mission that then leads to, Bo-Katan saying, you guys are not walking the way. There is a better way. I challenge you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could have done that by not having them encounter in this planet. You could have had them encounter in space while they're doing that mission. And then it could have been like, we can't talk right now. We need help during this mission. What do you guys think of that idea?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a way better way to handle, I think, this entire episode.
Yeah.
You don't even go to that planet.
Don't go to that planet.
You do some Star Wars stuff in space.
Yeah.
And then after, with all the arguments of the philosophies, I challenge you. And you could have done it right then.
Sure.
Right
Down for that.
Yeah. So
because that dynamic still needs to be flushed out, because it's not just because I got a sword and now you guys gonna blindly lead me to Navarro, and merge with these orthodox Mandalorians.
The thing is, though,
there has to be some.
But the Darksaber is like the Holy Grail. That is for them. I mean, look at them.
Not all of them, because the Navarro, Din was walking around with the saber and they didn't give a damn.
No, not them, but I'm saying for most Mandalorians, though, that is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
If you hold it, we're gonna follow you.
Yeah.
She challenged that dude, basically knocked him off of his throne, and she got the Darksaber all in one. They're all following her now.
Follow up on this question now. When they go back to, where's the armorer and all this now? Is she gonna accept, or did she already accept Bo as de facto leader even before she got this Darksaber?
Oh yeah, that's my take. That's at least my take on it.
Well, I mean, I was still under the I was kind of hoping for like her actually being a little evil and just kind of using Bo-Katan as far as like
you still want to go down that path.
I mean,
you know what though?
It's a more exciting path.
Yeah,
it would be great if she was using Bo-Katan to get more followers for her cause.
It's not going to happen, bro.
None of this is going to happen. Not going to happen.
None of this is going to happen.
I agree with you.
And to the point, if we see Thrawn, you know what I feel like it's going to be? The last couple seconds, and it's going to be like the back of a chair, and you're going to see fucking blue fingers. That's it,
bro. That's what I'm expecting.
Like if
that's what I've been expecting,
if at all.
Yeah,
that's what I'm. No, they'll give you.
They haven't even given us fucking Gideon yet. How do you? You know what I mean? We haven't even got Gideon.
No, because they have to promote the ahsokatano show. That's why they're going to give you the. I love your blue hands, because that's how I see them doing it as well.
And that's
or him just staring out a window.
Bingo card the last episode.
Oh, pool. The what is those things, like those pool blocks?
Yeah. We should do something like that.
Yeah. Is he going to be staring out a window? Is he going to be piss smacking Ezra?
Yeah.
I mean,
we could have just witnessed, though. This episode actually could have been the episode that breaks the fucking internet.
How so?
Because people are going to be talking shit about this episode.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there.
About this episode.
Yeah.
This would be,
this is going to get massive
There's
hate.
not going to be one positive thing that anybody says about this episode. I would
there's too much negative. There's too much bad.
I can't think of one thing that people, with the exception of the last 10 minutes, and even that for me is a stretch as far as what all went down. I just can't see anybody saying anything positive about this episode. And because I'm pretty sure there's already a season 4. Season 4 has already been greenlit.
Yeah.
If there already wasn't a season 4 greenlit, I would think that if this season keeps going the way it is and we don't get that amazing ending, we don't get the bangers that we're hoping for at the end, and people continue to talk shit about this season, I would not be shocked if they don't.
They do a Netflix and just,
not cut it, but then we get another 2, maybe even 3 years of just kind of like, let's rethink what we're doing with Star Wars because it's getting negative reviews and yada yada yada. Because they did it with the movies, and if their flagship, which is Mandalorian right now, is tanking like this that bad, it just wouldn't shock me, unless you just do a big turnaround these last 2 episodes. We're talking big turnaround. I really hope next week we're sitting here going, yes, that last that episode that we sat through was totally worth it to get to this episode, because check out all these things that happen.
But it's like, why would you even do that? And maybe you guys, I feel like you know a little bit more about like the ins and outs of like television and stuff like this. But why would you do that if you have 8 episodes and there's clearly painful ones? I mean, I don't think anybody could watch that and not know that was a painful episode, even the creators, right?
Yeah.
So, but then the last 2, you're all of a sudden going to give us these epic bangers. Like, really? Like, do you really think that's going to happen? And if so, why would they even do that? Why would you give us a shit episode? Why wouldn't you do what you're saying? Cut it like Boba, make it 7. Cut out this complete garbage.
Boba
that
was
have
actually
to be
only
there.
like 6 episodes. Because if you talk about the
barely.
one episode was just Mandalorian. He wasn't even in it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't
know, man.
And let's
There's
just talk
so many
about where does it go from here?
There's so many things that happen in that world, or in like the entertainment world, where us as fans sit back there and go, why would you make that decision? And you imagine yourself being in that meeting, being in that boardroom, being in that pitch room, and when they actually come up with the plan, and nobody's sitting there going like, the fans aren't going to like that. Like, look at Last Jedi. Look at The Last Jedi. How split people are on that, which is still baffling that we're even split on this. It should be 100% what the fuck was happening there.
Correct.
But you take a character like Luke Skywalker and you sit there and you take him and you put him on a planet and you make him just be this whiny little guy again. And regardless of what's happening in the galaxy, he doesn't even care. Like, it's just kind of like, I'm just here to die. Well, it's like, really? Then how come there's a map to come and find you? Like, if you're just here to die, then just fucking die. Like, it's like, your sister wants you back. You just found out your best friend got killed. You just, like, you have a girl that came here and told you that, like, billions of people are dying. Planets have been blown up by this Star Killer base thing. Your nephew's going wild. I don't care. I'm just going to say, like, you take a character like that and no one's in the boardroom going, I don't think people are going to like that. You have Mark Hamill that comes up and goes, this isn't my Luke Skywalker. Yeah. And people are still like, well, we're going to go down this path. I mean, it happens all the time. It happens all the time in television and in movies where people go there and they watch it and they go, really? Like, what the fuck was going on here? And this is a perfect example of that. And it's so disappointing because Filoni's involved in it, and Favreau's involved in it. Yeah. And you even had Bryce Dallas Howard directed it. It's like, how the heck did this episode survive the cutting board?
Exactly.
How did it get past everybody?
Unless there's just so much power and influence above them. And I don't know this. I mean, I gather that there's a lot of that.
Possibly.
But, again, why would anybody want that? I could see the bringing back Grogu as a strong arm, like a Kathleen thing. I'm going to strong arm. No, he's coming back.
Because you want to sell the plush toys. You want to sell the Legos.
But what I'm saying is I get that. I don't get that.
I'm not buying a Jack Black toy. I'm just not going to do it.
It's not happening.
I'm going to get a Rizzo.
Not doing it. No.
Not going to happen.
Nope.
Okay. There's 2 episodes left, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of still open-ended stuff.
I was going to bring that up. You point them out to me.
So if you go by each episode, there's a big chunk piece that's still kind of open-ended. In the first episode, it's the IG. Are we going to still see IG this season?
Nah.
Yeah, he'll show up at the last episode.
The last episode.
I'm going to tell you right now, if they don't... if that droid does not come back in some form of this season...
What's the point of episode 1, right?
What's the point? I mean,
he's not coming back.
But it's like, then you guys really or have your head so far up your asses. If you dedicated and like, what was that? 30-40% of that episode dedicated to try to get this droid working. You bring in the Boba Fricks. But was that just a marketing ploy just to bring these little characters back in there for like a second?
Probably.
No, that droid's got to come back at some point in this season.
I agree.
But he didn't get the memory. He didn't get the memory board.
Oh, that's what's next episode is the memory.
Oh my gosh.
Look what you just did.
He didn't even get the memory board.
All right, episode 2, it was the Minds of Mandalore. To me, things that are still unanswered is what's really going on down in Mandalore.
The Mythosaurus.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Okay,
dude, can I finish a sentence? There's what's going on in Mandalore. There's the Mythosaur, and what the hell was that eye thing? Those are the three open that they haven't given any clarification on any of those 3. Okay. Are we getting any of those 3?
I don't think you need clarification on any of those because I think the eye thing was just a creature.
No.
What was the first one?
what's really going on down in.
I think we found out
Mandalore.
that what's really going on is that it's not toxic. You can breathe the air, and I think with the mythosaur, we know that the mythosaur is down there.
No, I still think yes, the mythosaur. We'll find out.
We'll get more of them.
We know more about the mythosaur, but we still need to figure out where those tie interceptors came from.
Hold on, you're running the gun. That's another episode.
No, well, that's
not this episode.
Well, I'm going to mirror that though because I think they came from Mandalore. I think they came because she's like, where did they come from? There's no starship.
Yeah.
They don't know where they weren't on her planet.
Yeah.
And the closest planet to her planet is going to be Mandalore. So they got to be coming from Mandalore.
And you said that then. I think that could still be a possibility.
Something I've said's got to come true.
Because
in the
again,
season.
we always talk about planets as like that one location that they're filming. The planet's huge. You know, it's like when he's like, "Oh, thanks for saving Navarro 7." He's talking about like the 20 people he's with, but it's a whole planet.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Tatooine keeps ending a city every so often. It's blowing my mind.
So yeah, you know what? You were right. It was that same episode. In episode 3, the convert, who was really pulling the strings on Ellie Kane?
Well, that's that episode because the TIE fighter, the interceptors are season.
Oh,
or
so
episode
that's
3.
the episode. Okay, so you answered that part.
It goes into that. Yeah.
Okay, so now who's really that? That's the only big thing on that. Who's pulling the strings on Kane? And
at this point now, I think it's Moff Gideon. No, shit, no.
Moff Gideon, and why were they so hot to eliminate Dr. Pershing?
That one's that one I'd like to know. Right? But I also wouldn't be shocked though. Yeah, I mean I would. I mean, who the hell knows? Next episode,
the Foundling. What the hell happened after that?
Well,
can we get an answer to that?
Hold on. Well,
you still wanted to answer more on the other one?
No, because I'm jumping way up there. Okay, you go. Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I do think that's an important one though.
What, the Foundling, right?
No. About why it was such a big deal for Pershing, because they're clearly, and even things they're doing with Bad Batch right now with like the cloning, and they're actually bringing up Palpatine. You know, they're doing a lot about explaining cloning in that, and the thing with Pershing, huh?
Palpatine? Yeah. In what?
In Bad Batch?
When?
In this last 2 episodes.
What?
What do you mean? What?
I didn't watch them.
You said you fell asleep at the middle of the last one.
He was in the episode before that?
No, he wasn't in it, but they were talking about cloning on Mount Tantus.
I'm just fucking with you.
Fucking guy. They were talking about cloning. So all I'm getting at is I think the thing with Pershing, that there is something there. And I don't know what exactly it is, but it's almost like they don't want him to, like, maybe it's because it's in the hands of the New Republic and they're like, get this shit, kill this shit, you know?
Yeah.
But there's something there.
There's
something bigger picture there.
And then the Foundling is pretty much what happened after. We kind of know it was in hiding, but it would be nice to see how, when, where, and how did, Grogu end up with, what were those things in the first episode that had him?
They were just mercenaries. Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
So that, they gave us that flashback, and then just see them go off into space, but then what happens after that?
I mean, there was a Naboo ship, and there was Naboo soldiers.
Who called them.
The theory is, so this is one thing that I actually saw. The theory is that it was actually Jar Jar. That actually, no, seriously.
Okay.
So apparently, and I guess it's in one of the books, after the events of the Emperor becoming into power, and or Palpatine becoming the Chancellor because of what Jar Jar basically said in the Senate to give him power. I can't remember. Like, he does something in like episode 2.
He votes for Naboo.
He votes for
Supreme Chancellor.
He votes for Supreme Chancellor. So back on Naboo, Jar Jar is blamed for a lot of that shit, and so he's kind of outcast from like his people and stuff like that. So he kind of like just wanders around like a babbling buffoon or some shit. I don't really know, like, get all the details on it, but he's trying to get redemption. And so when he finds out about what's happening at the Jedi Temple, he sends a ship, and that's one of the theories that I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of interesting if it actually is Jar Jar who sends the ship, and it's actually the guy who actually plays Jar Jar is the guy. So it's kind of it would have been kind of cool if it is Jar Jar that kind of does it.
Yeah.
Because, Queen Amidala is dead. There's really nobody else that we even know, like, on that planet who would actually be helping him. And since it is Naboo, that was really like the only logical thing. So, I don't think you're going to see him.
No.
I don't think that's going to bring him up or anything like that. I to be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked if that stays open forever. Like you might see like what's the Jedi's name again?
Clarion Beck.
Yeah, you might see him and Grogu in another flashback.
Yeah,
but I don't think you'll actually get
future seasons.
But I don't think you'll actually find out like which Naboo person actually sent the ship or anything like that. I think they'll just end up going somewhere else. And
all right, the next episode was the pirate. Of course, we're probably gonna see who got Moff Gideon out. That's the big, piece that's still missing.
Well, I was gonna jump to that. I think maybe next episode, because now that she is in control of her people now, I think those guys were actually maybe commissioned to get him out.
I agree
so
with
Gideon might actually be on that ship, like right in front of her.
Ooh, I like that.
And so when she goes in there, they're going to find out, and then here's Gideon. And we broke him out because we got,
we got to go deliver him now.
We got to deliver him somewhere too. And then it'll be like another Mandalorian they paid him or something. I don't know.
No, I like this take. I like that.
I hope not, though.
I have not been right at all so far this season. So I am batting 0.
Yeah, but it's like I want more, but then I kind of like we're saying, like I feel like it's like getting hopes up because I feel like, again, like seeing Zeb felt like almost foreshadowing for like things to come, and I would love if it was like Sabine, because like I would love if Zeb was there to get
Sabine
info.
Was in the background of that fight. I'd have been like, okay, so at least we saw Sabine for a second.
But I think it would be so. I probably again not going to happen, but it'd be so cool if Zeb was there to get information on when Gideon was going to be moved, so he could let Sabine know, so Sabine could basically get him out of there. I just don't think she'd be killing the New Republic people. So it makes me feel like it's more like some sort of Death Watch type of thing. You know what I mean?
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Like Sabine's not going to kill them.
That, so it's not her.
It's not her.
Yeah.
So I would prefer it to be like a different faction. Like if there was like Death Watch.
Yeah. Well, that guy, they still hasn't.
Fen Rao.
Yeah. He's unless he's hiding in a ship here.
I know. Which I don't think it is.
I don't think. Yeah. And then on this episode, there was really nothing much, but maybe what's Din's role now without the Darksaber? Like
he's just Grogu's protector, and he just follows around Bo-Katan like a little puppy dog.
You're very disappointed.
I'm very disappointed. His helmet ain't gonna come off this season. He's gonna get no. It's not looking good. I can't believe I was on such a high in the last episode to then jump to this episode, and it's really just taking the legs right from underneath me and just kind of like.
Well, there's potential for 2 really good. I mean.
There's potential.
Sometimes you still gotta hope for the unknown.
There's always potential. There's always hope.
Yeah.
I mean, if there wasn't hope for a good episode, we would stop watching this. You know what I mean? Like, still got to give it the faith in the Filoni, the faith in Favreau that the next 2 episodes will be good and it'll redeem itself somehow.
Look how many things we just ran through every episode that are still open ended or not kind of tied off for a season. So
you got
there's a lot of stuff they could do in 2 episodes. 30 minutes, 40 minutes each.
I feel like
not all of them will be answered though.
So I don't think we're going to get anything about Gideon in this next episode. I think
really.
I don't. I think we're going to get more push forward with Bo back with the armorer and the new crew and the fleet and what the fuck. And then I think it's the final one that we're going to see Gideon at some point. And then maybe at the end, it'll be like him walking into like, a ship, like the main control area of a ship, and like Thrawn maybe is sitting there and you see his hands.
One of you guys said he was going to die, Thrawn would kill him. Maybe that's
now he might kill Thrawn. I have no idea. Here's what could happen though. This could be kind of fun. Let's hope for something glory here or something. But let's say Bo-Katan comes back to Navarro. And she's got her people with her now. And so now you're merging the clans. You've got the helmets and the non-helmets, right? And Armorer is still trying to kind of like be the leader of her people and even Bo-Katan's people and then even Bo-Katan. But now Bo-Katan starts pushing back, right? She doesn't have her helmet on that. She doesn't need her helmet on anymore.
Got the Darksaber.
Got the Darksaber. Seen a Mythosaurus. I'm like the shit now. And I think you might see the armor maybe get a little pissed off about this, maybe kind of like puff her chest up a little bit. Then maybe she takes her helmet off and then some shit goes down. That'd be nice.
That would be cool.
That could be cool. That could be something because there's got to be some kind of friction that's going to go on there. There has to be because now she's got everything. Now she has the Darksaber, she's got the Mythosaurus, she's got her people. She does not need the armor anymore. She doesn't even need her location. We're going to take back Mandalore.
I feel
We
like
don't need you.
I don't feel like there's a malicious quality in Bo though.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
I don't think there's a malicious quality, but I also think that she's still in heart. She is a leader. Like she's not going to sit there and have someone else lead her. I think she was knocked down because she didn't have her people anymore.
Yeah.
She didn't have the Darksaber. She felt like she was losing, and then she sees Din Djarin like following the path. She, she admires him for the fact that he still wants to complete his mission. And she goes and she saves him. She sees a Mythosaurus. She kind of like starts coming into this like, okay, maybe I need to follow this path of Din Djarin because obviously what I've been doing hasn't been working. But now that she's got all of her things back, she has all of her prizes and her toys. Mm-hmm. She is a queen. She is supposed to be a ruler. Rulers do not follow other people. So she's not going to follow the armor.
No.
So the armor is not going to sit there and tell her what to do. It's not going to happen. At some point, she's going to sit there and go, no, I want to do this. And then when she says that, how's the armor going to take that? Because even Din Djarin doesn't say no to her. He like, oh, what do you mean? I can't take I got to get redemption. I got to they all do what she says. So I just think that could be fun.
A little power struggle.
Power struggle.
Throw something in there. Yeah.
Between the girls, see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe they'll take their helmet off. What?
Oh man.
It's really mixed things up.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to listen to this episode long enough to even hear you say that because it's such a bad episode and we've talked so much shit about it. Some of them have turned it off.
Why would they turn it off unless they love the episode and think we're hacks?
Yeah.
You really think the what do you like to call them, fanboys are gonna like this episode?
I don't think there's a Kyle, if you're listening to this, Kyle, if you like this episode, I don't know what to say about you, man, because there's no way Kyle's climbing up a wall if he stayed up all night and watched this thing.
Yeah, but people that I think other fans like us that watch this that don't like it or that have a beef with it, they will vibe with the exact things that we're talking about, which is captivating. So
yeah,
that's my take on it. On
okay.
this,
so thank you for still listening and supporting us.
Thank you for
on this.
Check out that Patreon page.
2 through 5 of an episode.
Check out that Patreon page. That'll be good for you.
Check it out.
I can't wait to see what it comes up on like IMDb. What people?
It'll probably get like a 9.
No, maybe a 7.
Oh man, IGN will give it a 9 because it gave all the good episodes like 6s and 7s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, I think this might be a good point. Good time to wrap this up.
Yeah.
As
first 10 reviews are in 8.0.
No fucking way, dude.
On 10 reviews.
Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
If I could rate the last 10 minutes, I'd give it an 8.
For the people that are listening to this episode that we're talking when we're talking right now, you are a smart human being for sticking with us, because if you're following that score over there, then you need to stick with us because we're going to give you the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to let you know if it's a good episode or a bad episode. If people are giving that a good review, those people are being paid by other people to do it.
8 people gave it a 10.
No.
1 person gave it a 7, and 1 person gave it a 1.
That person that gave it a 1, friend that person.
This is the way.
This is the way.
It's the way.
The key, the way I'm going to know if it's a truly bad episode or not is when I watch it with my wife. Because my wife is not a diehard Star Wars fan. Matter of fact, she wasn't even into Star Wars until she started watching The Mandalorian. Now her favorite character is actually Bo-Katan is her favorite character. She's got her like on her phone, screensaver and stuff. Get her little plush toy.
Oh yeah.
But she was not into anything else Star Wars until this. And now she'll kind of watch other Star Wars stuff, but really doesn't give a crap about it. It's really Mandalorian. So if she doesn't like the episode, there's no way a Star Wars fan's going to like the episode.
Oh yeah.
Because there's nothing for a Star Wars fan in this episode, with the exception of the last 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
And even that, you don't know how I feel. Okay. Let's wrap it up. We already gave it our reviews. Let me just reiterate. Joey gave it a 6.
No, I gave it a 5.
5?
It's a fail, in my opinion.
A hard 4.
Hard 4, and I gave it a 2. So we can round that out. It's a fucking 2, man. It's a 2. The fact that you gave it a 5. What in that is a 5? Was that last 10 minutes a 5 for you?
Yeah. So
if you rated just the if you rated just the 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, what do you give it?
I would give the last 10 minutes an 8.
Okay, that's an 8. For the rest of the episode, what
1.
do you give that? A 1. So if we're actually doing math here,
I know, but I'm going to give it a 5 because
how
I'm just
long is
giving
the
it a
episode?
fail.
How long is the episode?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. So for half an hour, it's a 1.
Yeah.
And then the other half is an 8?
Yeah.
Okay. So mathematically, it's a 3 for you.
Yeah, but I'm going to give it a couple. Yeah, I'm thinking of this like a score. Like, like if I just
4.
wrote a paper, do I really deserve a 40% F or a 20% F for that episode? No, you're just a solid fail. Like you're a 50%.
Gotcha.
That's how I'm thinking. And that's probably not how the rating system works, but like that's why it gets a 5 for me. And it's going to stay a 5, Robbie. Okay. It's a 5.
My mission now for the rest of this season is to drop that score. I'll even bring it back up.
I'll
bring it back up the next
watch
episode we do.
We'll watch it again, I'm sure, all of us.
Yeah,
so we'll touch on this before.
You know what? Maybe this is a very big maybe, but
maybe you watched it wrong.
Maybe I'll enjoy the episode more if I'm not staying up at midnight to hopefully watch a great episode.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what's the name of that movie? Battlefield Earth. You ever watch Battlefield Earth?
No.
You ever see that with John Travolta?
Mm-mm.
It's terrible. It's a terrible movie. But the first time I saw it, I hated it. I was like, this is the worst thing I ever saw in my life. I couldn't believe it. I was so mad. But Joe, I'm going to date myself right now. Then my dad bought a DVD player. And then my dad
bought a
DVD player. And then he bought 4 movies on a DVD. And one of those movies was Battlefield Earth. And I was like, this is all we got. And then I watched it again because I was like, I got to try out my new DVD player. I was like, this is amazing. You want to know why? Because I knew exactly what I was getting into. I knew exactly that it was trash. And then I was like, all right, this is fun trash.
Yeah.
I can laugh at this trash. It's great trash.
Mm.
But the fact that it's Star Wars, I don't think I can laugh at great trash there.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's wrap it up. Okay.
Right.
Thank you for listening to The Extremists. We appreciate all of your support. Please go ahead and check out our Patreon page. Help us get some coffee and stuff. That'd be amazing. Send some love. Send us some messages. Let us know what you think of this episode. What would you rate it? What was positive about this episode? What was negative about this episode? Would you share this episode with your parents? Let us know, please. We have other shows we're working on. Go check out Still Holds Up. New episodes will be dropping shortly. Also, our super secret show. That'll be happening at some point in life. And then Max and I are even talking about another show now, which could be really fun and exciting. And we'll have video. We are. We're talking about the text messages a little bit. Like, it could be fun.
Oh, that was just going to be an episode within here.
No.
Okay.
Anyways, video is coming shortly so you can see our pretty faces. I'll make sure to hit the gym before that happens. Thank you so much. And we will catch you next time.
Music composed by Kyle Torme. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Extremist coverage of The Mandalorian. Subscribe to the Extremist podcast feed at rotyourbrainmedia.com/The Extremist. Subscribe to Rot Your Brain Media feed at rotyourbrainmedia.com and support Rot Your Brain Media by visiting patreon.com/rotyourbrainmedia.